The envelope slid across the table without a sound, like a blade laid gently on skin. I remember the way the candle flame leaned when her father's sleeve brushed the air. I remember the weight of the room collapsing inward. White linen, crystal glasses, the quiet confidence of people who believe money is the same thing as power. And then the envelope stopped in front of me, its edge perfectly aligned with my plate, as if this humiliation had been rehearsed. No one spoke. That was the line. They had chosen a restaurant that wore its wealth like a tailored suit. Soft lighting, attentive silence, chairs that whispered when you sat. My wife squeezed my hand under the table. She was proud, nervous. She wanted them to see what she saw in me. A good man, a simple man, a man who fixed his own watch and never complained about flying economy. Her mother smiled the way people do when they're done pretending. Her father didn't smile at all. He studied me like a line item that didn't belong on a balance sheet. The waiter poured wine I didn't touch. I watched the legs of it cling to crystal and fall. Gravity always tells the truth. They asked polite questions with sharp edges. What do you do with your time? Are you happy living like this? My wife answered for me, sometimes trying to soften the blows. I let her. I always let people underestimate me. It's a gift you give them once. Then came dessert. Then came the envelope. Her father cleared his throat, the sound of a man about to correct a mistake. He slid the envelope forward and rested 2 fingers on it, claiming ownership of the moment. This is for you, he said, to help you get started. I felt my wife stiffen. Confusion first, then embarrassment, then the slow burn of anger. She didn't yet know how to aim. I didn't open it. I didn't have to. I knew the thickness by feel. A check. Not generous enough to be kind, just enough to be insulting. Silence stretched. Her mother watched me like she was waiting for a trick, for gratitude, for submission. I smiled. Thank you, I said. My voice didn't shake. That's very thoughtful. The relief on their faces told me everything. They thought they had placed me where I belonged. Inside, something went quiet. I had loved them once, not deeply, but sincerely. I believed respect could be earned over time. I believed consistency mattered. I believed that if I showed up, if I cared for their daughter, if I built a life that was honest, the rest would follow. That belief died with the envelope. It wasn't the money. It was the assumption. The verdict delivered without a trial. The way they reduced me in front of the woman I loved, confident I wouldn't notice the knife because it was wrapped in civility. I folded the envelope and slipped it into my jacket. I met my wife's eyes and gave her a small nod. Not now, later. On the drive home, she apologized for them. She said they didn't mean it like that. She said they were old-fashioned. She said she talked to them. I told her it was fine. That was the last lie I told her. I went quiet after that, not cold, focused. Silence is where plans breathe. I had spent a decade building a position no one could trace back to me. Layered entities, blind trusts, a signature that never appeared twice. 10 billion in shares accumulated patiently anonymously in her father's company. The one he spoke about like a kingdom passed down by blood alone. I knew every weakness, every debt quietly rolled forward, every regulatory corner cut and covered with donations. I knew who he owed favors to and who was tired of waiting to collect. I didn't rush. Rushing is how people get sloppy. I let the envelope sit on my desk for weeks, unopened, a reminder, a promise. Then I started pulling threads. A vote here, a withheld endorsement there, a sudden shift in institutional confidence. Nothing dramatic, just enough to make analysts ask questions they hadn't asked before. The stock dipped slightly. Her father blamed the market. He always blamed something abstract. It kept his hands clean. I kept going. I withdrew support he didn't know he had. Delayed capital at the exact moments liquidity mattered most. Encouraged competitors to circle, not attack, just circle. Predators don't need to bite when fear does the work. The board grew restless. Executives started polishing resumes. A regulator requested documents that should have been easy to produce but weren't. At dinner weeks later, her parents were different. Smiles tighter, laughter louder. They asked me about work again, suddenly interested. I answered politely, simply. I watched sweat bead at her father's temple under soft lighting. He never recognized me. Why would he? Power rarely looks for threats below eye level. The real unraveling took 3 months. Credit lines tightened. A promised acquisition fell apart when financing evaporated overnight. A whistleblower, one I had protected years earlier without him ever knowing, found courage at exactly the right moment. The stock slid harder. I attended meetings I was never invited to. Listened to calls I was never on. I knew when he stopped sleeping. I knew when his voice cracked behind closed doors. My wife felt it too, though she didn't understand it. Stress changed the shape of her parents. The way her father snapped, the way her mother stopped hosting dinners. One night she asked me if I knew what was happening. I told her the truth finally. I think they're about to learn something. I said the final confrontation wasn't dramatic. It didn't need to be. Her father requested a private meeting. Neutral location, glass walls, the kind of room designed to make everyone feel equal, while power does what it always does. He looked smaller, older. His hands trembled when he poured water. I don't know who you are, he said, choosing his words carefully. But I know you're behind this. I smiled just enough. I met you once, I said over dinner. Confusion then memory. The envelope, his face drained of color. I slid it back across the table, unopened, pristine. I never needed this, I said. I needed respect. He tried to speak, tried to bargain, tried to apologize in the way powerful men do, strategically, conditionally. I let him finish. Then I told him how much I owned, how long I'd owned it, how easily I could finish what I'd started or stop. The silence this time was different, heavy, final. I didn't take everything. That would have been indulgent. I took enough. Enough to remove him, enough to reshape the company, enough to ensure he would never confuse money with authority again. When we left the building, my wife asked me who I was. I told her I was the same man I'd always been. I just stopped pretending I deserved less. She cried, not because I lied, because she finally understood the weight I'd been carrying quietly. Her parents never apologized. They didn't need to. Consequences speak a language pride understands. I still live simply. I still fix my own watch. I still fly economy. But when an envelope slides across a table now, it's usually a resignation letter, and I always open,